Puerto Princesa City, a premier tourist destination in the Philippines, is set amidst lush rainforests, long irregular shorelines with varied coastal characteristics, and three major embayments that serve as excellent fishing ground and important tourism resources: Puerto Princesa Bay and Honda Bay on the eastern side, and Ulugan Bay on the west coast. Home to the world-famous underground river, a World Heritage Site and one of the new Seven Wonders of Nature, a national park and Ramsar site, Puerto Princesa is rich in natural resources: mangrove swamps, limestone cliffs, coastal beaches punctuated by coves and bays, rich marine life, endemic flora and fauna surround this beautiful paradise, truly a city in a forest. Puerto Princesa is the main gateway to Palawan, the Philippines' last ecological frontier, and voted as the #1 island in the world by Travel Plus Leisure magazine readers. The city is the center of trade and commerce, communications, education, government service and transportation. Most goods and people enter and leave Palawan through Puerto Princesa. Located 306 nautical miles southwest of Manila, Puerto Princesa is one of the largest cities in the country in terms of land area with 219,339 hectares. A chain of spine-like mountain ranges and steep hills run through the entire length of the city and is framed on two sides by water bodies, the West Philippine Sea on the west and the Sulu Sea on the east. Palawan, primarily Puerto Princesa, is safest. No earthquake faults, largely because the island was once part of continental Asia, which separated around 100 million years ago and drifted towards the Philippines. The rock of the island is continental and different from other parts of the country, which is made of oceanic rock. Hence, the crust of the island is thicker at 30 kilometers compared to the oceanic rock's 12 kilometers, having derived from the Pacific seabed. Puerto Princesa is also typhoon-free most years and no active, inactive, and potentially active volcanoes. Because of its geological and geographical advantages, as well as its vast opportunities, Puerto Princesa has become a melting pot for many Filipinos and expatriates. From the latest census, the city has a population of 222,730 with an annual growth rate of 3.24%. The city's airport and seaport are among the important transport links in the region and is among the active players in the regional development. The Puerto Princesa International Airport is under construction to improve the airport complex. The runway will be enlarged, a new taxiway, apron and turn area will be created, and a new passenger plus cargo terminal will be built. After its operational debut in January 2017, the airport will truly be a major terminus for Asian flights. As such, it will serve as a bridge for international tourism and trade like direct export and import ventures, cutting out the Manila leg of any journey. The 48-hectare port of Puerto Princesa is a major port of entry to the island province of Palawan. The city port complex has a simultaneous berthing capacity of 2 or 3 ocean-going vessels, such as cruise ships, which have made the city a regular weekly cruise ship calls in their routes. More than 10,000 cruise tourists visit Puerto Princesa every year. The Philippines is a fast-growing cruise market due to its exceptional hospitality, exotic destinations, and its proximity to the home ports of Singapore and Hong Kong. Puerto Princesa is strategically located with the rest of Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia and Philippines East Asia Growth Area or BIMP IAGA. The planned borderless economy would hasten joint venture cooperation, tourism activities, and business travel within the area. There is an ongoing initiative to open a sea link between Brooks Point, Palawan and Kudat in Sabah, Malaysia. And this, together with the proposed upgrading of the city airport, should bring about increased air traffic and trade links between Puerto Princesa and the rest of the region. The Puerto Princesa Bay is a large bay with a peninsula and has a surface area of 63,000 hectares. This is where the environmental estate is located. This 1,072-hectare reservation, situated along the ship route and opposite the city port complex, is open to proposals to build, say, golf courses, tourism-oriented facilities, a small housing complex, and spa hotels, because within the place is a hyper-alkaline hot spring with an 11.0 pH level, a natural carbon sink that can capture and store millions of tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The Santa Lucia Hot Spring is quite unique and even alone can serve as an attracting feature for other facilities and activities like water sports, golf, and simple peace and quiet. Hotels with spas are the fastest growing segment of the hospitality industry in the recent years, and this is expected to still continue into the far future. He who takes advantage of this opportunity will be a pioneer of note in the field. On another tack, the environmental estate has a deeper water portion that can accommodate a T-port and berthing facilities for small and medium-sized vessels such as fishing boats and motor launches. Shoreside, support infrastructure for a fish port complex like an ice plant, cold storage facilities, marine products processing, and fish market may be established. Adjacent to the estate are unique attractions like the soon-to-rise Ocean Park at Turtle and Binunsalian Bays, white sand beaches, the Acacia Tree Tunnel at Inagawan, the Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm Central Administration Complex, Balsahan River for freshwater dipping, and firefly watching at the Iwahig River, which is large enough for water sports and exploration trips. Santa Lucia Inlet is likewise a great site for industrial cum tourism projects like giant clam gardens, fish breeding, hatchery, and mariculture farms. Not far from Santa Lucia is the vast Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm that offers good opportunities for farming of selected crops, livestock raising, and other agricultural development. At the heart of Puerto Princesa Bay, you will find the City Bay Walk, complete with promenade and cycling lanes. The city government will welcome investments to develop a convention center with 10,000 seating capacity, museum, commercial strips, glass-protected restaurants, and social spaces on the terrestrial side that take advantage of the vista. On the marine portion, a small marina will be appropriate to accommodate boats and yachts and give them easy direct access to the city. The City Baywalk is the favorite gathering place in the evenings for the youth and the hoi polloi in the city, weather permitting. Major infrastructure investment within the bay will further improve the accessibility of the entire urban area by opening ferry services plying between the Baywalk and Tinigiban Cove, Santa Monica and Iwahig, Santa Lucia, Luz Viminda, and Mangingisda. An added premium that this investment is expected to yield is that it will enhance the touristic potential of Puerto Princesa Bay. By building and modernizing other boat landing facilities around the bay, commuting between the poblacion and strategic points across the bay will become more intensive. Just as the port area is the Immaculate Conception Cathedral in the Baroque architectural style, and Plaza Cuartel, where Filipino and American prisoners were killed by the Japanese in World War II. These are two regular tourist points of interest and part of any city tour. Current efforts are being undertaken by the city and provincial governments and USAID to refurbish and restore Plaza Cuartel and to improve the tourism infrastructure surrounding the area. This is part of the initiatives to highlight historical tourism destinations in the city, which also includes the World War II Memorial Museum, the Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm, and Mendoza Park. If your prospective investment on leisure activities is more saltwater-oriented, then the Tagbarungis area with its 2-kilometer coconut-shaded white sand beach will be perfect for it. Just 35 kilometers south of the city proper, Tagbarungis is a little after Binunsalian Bay, easily reachable, and will be the ideal alternative to Honda Bay Beach, commuting without time constraints. A medium-sized hotel offering sports and marine facilities and amenities capitalizing on the pristine, unpolluted clear waters of Sulu Sea will be very appropriate to the place, attracting people who wish to spend more time near and on the sea. South of Tagbarungis is the Acacia Nature Park. The park has the highest density of acacia trees in Palawan and perhaps in the entire Philippine archipelago. An unparalleled natural growth of the species in the area occupies approximately 308 hectares, consisting of several hundred of acacia trees. There is about a kilometer stretch of dense canopy of acacia or tree tunnel along the national highway. The distinct feature of the area gives pleasure, relaxation, and sense of peace to those who appreciate nature. Aside from being a tourist attraction, Acacia Tree can be a stopover of public vehicles going to southern part of Palawan. Ulugan Bay is an almost closed embayment that virtually never experiences inclement sea conditions. The bay, which forms a deep channel, is punctuated by small inlets such as Oyster Bay in the west and Tagnipa Inlet on the east. The coastal flats of Ulugan Bay are interspersed with isolated beaches. It is located along the route to the world-famous underground river, and therefore is a nice stopover place for other saltwater activities such as sailing, seaside camping, and kayaking or boating. In many places, the forest begins right at the shore, so exploring the bay is never boring. A small hotel or two at Barangay Buena Vista that offers such activities should be a great alternative to the noisier Sitio Sabang environment. Not far from the Ulugan Bay is the Nagtabon Beach, already an existing destination frequented by the locals and tourists visiting the city. The Talaujong Beach and the City Wilderness Park. Talaujong Beach is a beautiful secluded cove lined with fine sand and has clear waters offshore, great for swimming and other marine-based activities. The site is ideal for resort development. The City Wilderness Park, also in Talaujong, covers an area of about 500 hectares. The forested site has been relatively well preserved with tall, huge old-growth trees that dominate its upper canopies. An idea of a canopy walk facility for tourists in the site can be considered. Other portions of the park have secondary growth forests which can readily serve as camping sites. These sites definitely have high potentials for beach-related tourism and ecotourism developments considering the aesthetic value of its landscape and seascape. Some distance south of Nagtabon and Talaujong is Sitio Tagkawayan with the city beach, which used to host sports-oriented week-long camp that draws crowds of local and foreign tourists and spectators. Tagkawayan is not promoted much to preserve its quaint peace and tranquility, so its spectacular sunsets, white sands, and centuries-old giant ipil tree are not widely known. Cabana and cottage-style accommodations that will not alter the place's nature ambience will find a steady clientele in solitude-loving individuals who prize serenity above party life. Even a tent facility will be most welcome and probably more preferable. Of course, personal water sports like kayaking, kayak fishing, and dinghy sailing will not be out of place either. All of them have places in Tagkawayan. Honda Bay, 1,001 islands of fun, adventure, and nature. Its islands of fine white sand, breeze-caressed palms, sheltered inshore nooks are just perfect for personal water sports activities. These people are all part of the actual whole scene for the place. But you can begin thinking that all these people, residents and visitors, will need some sort of products, maybe not as yet available to them, or they have not even imagined possible, yet you can give it to them in the form of project or venture. If you're still not convinced, think about these. Puerto Princesa City is flood-free, earthquake-free, pollution-free, typhoon-free most years, with educated people at par with those of other provinces, high-speed communication enabled, has the space and living room large enough for practically any project, strategically located between South and East Asia, and will soon be directly internationally air-linked. Plus, the city government is open to new investments and established specific instrumentalities to assist interested investors find their local matches for joint ventures, facilitate in securing licenses and permits, help in locating sites and securing the services of local utility companies. These are on top of incentives granted to new ventures, as much as 100% exemption from business and real property taxes for the first 3 years and 75% exemption on the 4th year. In short, the opportunities are there. You only need to explore them and find where and how you fit. We'd be there to help you. Along the way, enjoy its hospitality, interesting sights, and most of all, the unpolluted air and laid-back atmosphere of provincial life. There are more reasons to visit and invest in Puerto Princesa. Welcome to my Puerto Princesa. You are home.